The Jaguars rallied from 17 down to beat the Dallas Cowboys 40-34 in overtime. This game was like a Disney movie. The Jaguars had a lot of Academy Award winning performances in this win. Best lead performer, Trevor Lawrence. He threw for 318 passing yards and 4 touchdowns. But how about the best supporting actor? Reyshawn Jenkins. He had the greatest single game performance that I have ever seen from a defensive back in all my years watching football. NFL, college football, high school football, middle school football, Pop Warner, flag football. I have never seen a defensive back put on this kind of performance in a football game. 18 tackles, 2 interceptions, which one of those interceptions ended up being the walk-off game winner in the overtime. The Jaguars showed how you support your young quarterback. Yes, we know that the heart and soul of the Jacksonville Jaguars football team is Trevor Lawrence. If he doesn't play well, they're not going to win 9 times out of 10. But when he does play well, they end up pulling off upsets like this one. You know, when you have a young quarterback, the most important thing is being able to support him, not just talent-wise, but being able to support him by bailing him out when he makes the occasional mistakes. And Trevor Lawrence had 2 big ones in this ball game. He threw an interception, which the defense only allowed a field goal off that. And right after the following drive, Trevor Lawrence delivers a 59-yard dime to Zay Jones. Then he had a fumble late in the 4th quarter. And at that point, when he fumbled the football, you're probably thinking the Jaguars are going to lose that game. But the defense bails him out again. And they give the ball back to Trevor Lawrence, and he steps up. Final drive. They get the Jaguars in the field goal range. They send the game to overtime, and Reyshawn Jenkins called ball game. Fantastic win by the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, I don't think you have anything to be ashamed of when you look at this loss. Yeah, people are going to make it out to be like it was a bad loss because you lost to the Jaguars. But I believe the Jaguars are going to end up winning the AFC South and that they're going to make the playoffs. You see, this win is huge. Not only for this team, but for the city of Jacksonville. As somebody who is from the 904 and is from Duval, this win has rejuvenated this city. Because let's be honest, for those of you guys listening to this who live in the 904 area, you know that there pretty much isn't nothing to do in Jacksonville. The Jacksonville Jaguars are about the only thing there is to do in Jacksonville, and the only thing there is to support when it comes to professional sports in that city. So when the Jacksonville Jaguars are good, the community really rallies behind this team. You remember their 2017-2018 season when they went all the way to the AFC Conference Championship game? This city really got behind this football team. And when this football team is good, it's good for the city of Jacksonville because it gives the city something positive to talk about. This win is huge for the city of Jacksonville and huge for this team going forward. You listen to Doug Peterson in the post-game press conference. He talks about how proud he was of his team being able to come back from another game which they were down multiple possessions. They did the same thing against the Baltimore Ravens a couple of weeks ago at home once again. This team showed a lot of poise through tough times and adversity in this game. There were moments where you thought early on the Dallas Cowboys were going to blow out Jacksonville. But Jacksonville was able to come from behind and they were able to shock everybody and they were able to walk away with this win. Dak Prescott was not good when the Jacksonville Jaguars got consistent pressure on him. He threw one interception to Reyshawn Jenkins when the Jacksonville Jaguars just had all kinds of pressure in his face. I don't know what happened. I feel like he just kind of rushed it. He kind of just got a little bit too underwhelmed or too overwhelmed. The pressure was in his face, and he just had to make a split-second decision, and unfortunately ended up being a bad one. I don't think Dak Prescott is the problem in Dallas moving forward. I don't think there's a quarterback controversy in Dallas. I think he's fine. I just think that this game got away from Dak Prescott. And not only did this game get away from Dak Prescott, but it also got away from this coaching staff. You got away from the run game. You became a little bit too pass heavy when you got Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott. The Jaguars were able to rally in this game. And I think when you look at Dallas moving forward, they still are going to be a formidable team when they make it to the playoffs because they already have secured their spot in the dance with the New York Giants beating the Washington Commanders. So they're already going to be in the playoffs. It's all about who they end up playing. And right now, it looks like they're most likely going to end up playing whoever wins the dreadful NFC South division. So I'm not worried about the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, this is a loss that is unexpected if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan. But I was telling my homies all week that the Jaguars were going to win this game. Around this time last year, I don't think it was this week exactly, but Jacksonville upset Indianapolis and derailed their playoff hopes. They upset the Baltimore Ravens at home a couple of weeks ago. So the Jacksonville Jaguars have showed this season at home when Trevor Lawrence plays well and they get a good supporting cast. Well, they get good performances from their supporting cast around Trevor Lawrence. They're capable of being able to beat any team in the NFL. The Dallas Cowboys were just able to play a Jacksonville Jaguars team that was playing some expired football. They had the Jaguars on the ropes in this game. And instead of running the football, the strength of their football team, they got away from the strength of their football team. The Jaguars, with this win, they improved to 6-8. They probably are going to win the AFC South because the Tennessee Titans, they just lost to the Chargers and they're banged up right now. They have a lot of injuries and their next 3 games against the Texans, Cowboys, and Jaguars are going to be tough. The Cowboys are already a tough outing. You saw the Jacksonville Jaguars had to come back from a 17-point deficit to beat Dallas. Dallas still is one of the most talented teams in the NFL. So for the Tennessee Titans, with a team that has so many injuries, that's going to be a really tough game for them. Not to mention, the final game of the regular season for both teams is going to be a showdown, which is probably going to be the game that determines who ends up winning this division and who goes to the playoffs and who stays at home. The Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Dallas Cowboys 40-34. Let me know what you guys think about the Jacksonville Jaguars' performance over the Dallas Cowboys in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this episode of the podcast, make sure that you guys leave us a 5-star review. We would greatly appreciate it. Remember that the JT Sports Podcast is available on all podcasting platforms, wherever you get your podcast from. Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon. You can find the JT Sports Podcast. Leave us with a like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I will see you guys shortly with another episode of the JT Sports Podcast.